Hey guys, Jake Wise there. Today I'm going to be editing a first look video and I want to show you my process for editing a video from start to finish. Sifting, piecing together with the music, with the audio, sound designing, and color grading, and how I export this out, create titles, and so forth. A lot of you were asking me if I could just upload more recent how I edit from start to finish quick videos like this, so I hope this helps. Alright, starting from the very beginning, I just opened up Premiere Pro and I'm creating a new project. So what I'm going to do is browse where I want this to go, and I have my things very organized. So I go to my Jake Weisler Films tab, Weddings 2020, Emma and Jaren is the couple. And as you can see, I already have my audio folder, my footage folder, and then my song already picked out. There we go. So I'm just gonna choose that folder, save it there, name this Emma and Jaren First Look, hit OK, and my project opens. So I'll come over to this tab and hit import, or Command I, go to Emma and Jaren, and I'll import the footage, the song, and the audio, hit import. One issue is that before the shoot, me and my second shooter do not sync our times. Usually I sync my time so that both my cameras are in the exact same time code, so that in post I can organize it by time and just drag and drop it and everything's in order. But this time, my camera A footage is on a completely different time than my camera B footage, so I'm going to be kind of going back and forth a little bit. Okay, so now that footage is import, my next step is to put it into the timeline. So I'm going to go into here, and to show you I've created a preset, I go to my metadata display, and I actually just choose my Jake Weisler, and that just removes everything I don't need. All I want is the frame rate, the name, and the creation date. But as I previously stated, the creation date usually will line these up so it's in order. But my 1D3 footage, as you can see there, is not syncing with my 1DB footage or camera B because on a different time. So my first thing is I'll grab all of this, double click, modify, interpret footage, and interpret all the slow motion stuff to 23.976. So it's all the same. I'm gonna grab that footage and just drag it right here. Creates a new timeline with these settings. So I have about an hour of footage to go through. We'll just quickly skim through this. First thing I do is actually I mute this while I'm sifting through. I don't want to hear that slow motion garbage. And so I'll just start watching. I'll put this at half resolution so it will play better. And I'll just kind of start going through and watching. So this is a pretty shot, intro shot. If I'm walking, I'll cut when he starts taking steps. Okay, so as you can see, my camera stops, so I'm going to cut right before he stops. And he kind of looks at the camera right there, makes it not a very pretty shot, so I'm just going to cut right before that, drag it up. So now that I know in post, okay, everything on layer 2 is what I'm using, everything on layer 1 is extra, in case I want it later. Okay, here's angle 2, same shot. Again, he kind of looks at the camera for some reason, starts talking to me. Man, these grooms, they never know how to act. Next shot, some details. Start where it gets smooth. Kind of take about 4-second increments every time. Cut and remove. Another shot. This time I saw these mountains, and so I wanted that in the background. So again, I have two similar shots here. This one and this one. And we'll see which one I end up using in the final video. Okay, next we got the bride. This is actually a first look. So here comes the bride. Beautiful. This is on the 7200, by the way. Seriously, like the prettiest. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this freaking guy. Looks right at me before he turns around. Okay, great reaction. So I just kind of keep this whole thing because I'm never sure how much I'm going to use in the final video, but I'm just going to leave the entire thing. The reason I love zoom lenses is you can get those different types of angles really fast without having to change your lens and rebalance. So now I can piece that together and make it feel like I had 3 cameras on the exact same scene. Cute. A little giggle. Big fan. All right, next. Okay, and then this is actually fake. This is after the first look. We wanted to do one more angle for the story, which they were cool with while the photographer was changing lenses. So I just had her re-approach him, and they even do the turn. But I'm not going to use that because it's fake. Boom. Switching to 60 FPS. Here we go. I'm going to cut right there before my camera goes bonkers. Okay, this one definitely was a photo shot. Sometimes the photographer will have them do a movement that looks great in a picture, but then you film it and you're like, that looks super weird. And this is one of those shots where she was like twirling her hair a little bit too much. And then I told her to calm down. And that was when it started looking great. Detail shot of the ring, the flowers, and her dress all in the same shot. So when I'm doing this, I'm always looking for, like, make sure they both look good. So here he's like, she's cute, but then he's like doing something weird with his eyes. So I'm just like, nah, I don't want to see that, you know? This is a pretty detailed shot for flowers I might use. Okay, so now I'm done sifting. I zoom out and here I have my levels. Level 1 is all my favorite clips, and level 2 is where I don't want them. So I'm just gonna highlight level 2 and drag it out of the way. And I just kind of put it way over here so that if I want to come back and have more footage, I can. I've programmed my shortcuts so I can remove all the spaces by selecting and hitting J. And it just takes all the dead space. Now it's all clumped together. As you can see, we have about 18 minutes of footage now as opposed to an hour. Okay, so I'm gonna move this over again, about 4 minutes ahead, grab the song and drop it in there. It's a very long song, so I'm gonna kind of go through, listen to it, and trim it a little bit, and I'll trim it as I go with the bridal video. And as I'm listening, I'm just kind of trying to envision the video based on the footage I just sifted through. That footage is fresh in my mind, so now I want to kind of figure out how it would fit in here. So my first thought is to show her walking towards him, and before he turns around, cut to bridals. And then like, well, we never saw the first look. And like, we have to wait for it. It's kind of build some anticipation. So this is like a 6-minute song, so I'm going to actually cut out the second chorus and just skip to the third. And take one of these piano strokes and find the next one. And just get rid of the middle. Let's see how that works. Nope, that didn't work at all. A little cross divide. Let's see how that works. Yeah, it works really well. So we don't have any parts of the video that will match that intensity. There's no running. I just don't know if I'm gonna use that last chorus at all. I'm gonna delete that actually and just bring this out. So I think I'm gonna merge this ending. Let's see how that sounds. Can make it work. That's gonna be the first look for sure. Okay, so it's gonna be about a 2.5-minute song. So how I match these, I'll just kind of drag them on top of each other, see where the beats are, and just make sure they're perfectly matched. Okay, so it's not perfectly sunk up yet. We'll try this. Yeah, it works great. So what I do is drag it on top and I cross divide. I'm sure there's better ways, but it works usually for me. Yeah, works great. Crossfade this out. Alright, so now that I have my song cut to the length I want and that I have the footage I want to use, I'm going to now piece this thing together using the clips. We will see how that goes. So first, for this opening shot, I want to do some sound design, and I want to have some wind and some trees visible. So I'm gonna kind of scrub through my footy here. I'm actually gonna color code all my details. Okay, so here we got some good details. So I'm just gonna highlight these, label them. I'm just gonna do them purple so I can know where they are. So usually my scrubbing works, but today it's not working. So more purple. That's probably the perfect detail actually, this one, because it matches the first look. These two clips are great. Purple. Alright, so based on these clips, I think my favorite shot to open is probably this one. Let's see how it looks. And cut it right there. So I'm gonna add some sound design to show that there's like, wind going through these weeds. Something super subtle. And then it's gonna cut to a wide shot. And I'm actually gonna highlight, since my camera A and B footage is all messed up, I'm going to highlight all of my first look footage. I will label that baby blue. I think I want a mystery shot of him approaching the scene. Go with this one. So the camera kind of judders right there, so I'm gonna cut right before that and just have it go like that. So let's kind of see how the song plays out. Figure out what my pacing is gonna be. And then I'm going to cut to the bride details. Okay, so right there, I'm going to cut from the first look to just bridles. I'm going to add a marker. So remember, and right there, it's going to be the bride. Right there, it's going to be her walking towards him. Maybe 2 shots of that, and then kind of build suspense. So for now, I want some more details of the groom, just chilling. I really like Sam's angles he got. Might do that one. Let's see how this looks. Gosh, my computer's so annoying. And I need some mystery shots of the bride. I think I want just like a classic portrait like this shot. Maybe these 2 shots will look good. Let's see. Okay, so she's gonna walk towards him. Not sure what angle I want. Maybe this one. Definitely that one. And maybe this one as well. Okay, so I'm gonna cut to a wide first. Okay, so here's what we got so far. I like to watch it back 1,000 times just so I can know, like, okay, is the story working out? Do I like the intro so far? The first few seconds are always the most important, so you want to make sure that's the best. I like that. So now I'm going to cut to another detail. Okay, so my cutting isn't perfect. I'm going to move that over. Okay, so I already know I want to cut from that to Sam's shot of them walking up the hill. Let's see which one's better. This one or this one? This one. I think I like her looking down better. Let's see how it looks. And so I'm planning to do with this shot, you guys, is add my title right here. I go to Essential Graphics, Basic Title, and do Jake Weisler Films Presents. And I'll come over here and I do getting you on my secrets for how I do this. I learned this from a mentor of mine, John Bunn. So I keep it super small. And I'm going to space it out a ton. Make it even smaller. I'm going to change the opacity of that, the whole thing a little bit, usually to 70. And then I don't like how it presents, so I'll put that a little bit lower. Boom, so that's kind of my opening title. Make sure it's nice and centered. There we go. Look around here, slow down. I miss a page of flare up above. Slow down. I miss a page. And what I'll do here, copy and paste it right here. And when that, the words come in, I'm gonna do their names. I think that's how you spell it. I'm not in love with that framing. I'll make it even bigger. Put it more this way. Or even do it more unconventional. And I might even do this right here. And crossfade it in. Raise up a little bit. And crossfade that out. Because next shot, I want their names to stay on the screen, but it needs to be that same composition, so I want to fill it with something else. Yeah, I'm gonna do it with this one, actually. Shorten that, do this. Okay, so my worry is that I'm not gonna give myself enough room for the first look, so I'm actually gonna skip this middle and go right to the first look, and then kind of fill in the gaps in the middle, because the rest of the middle is just a montage of the bridals, but the beginning and the end are the story. So I want to come back to this shot to kind of tie it in that we're coming back, and copy and paste it using the same clip, but I think it's gonna be powerful. Okay, I'm just gonna do a raw first look right here, and I could sync these up with audio, but okay, I did it first try. I'm so good. Cut right here. Cute, so let's see how that looks. It's gonna be great with that audio too. I love that. I don't care what y'all think. Okay, let's go back to this. I love how laggy my computer is. I like these two clips. Throw them in there. I just love this little pose right here. When the photographer had this pose, and I thought it was a really, really pretty version. Okay, so now that the music's picking up, I can kind of change scenes. I'm using the music as a transition. So now I just want to kind of highlight the bride. So we were already in tight shots. So I'm gonna cut to a medium shot. My camera stopped recording. I'm not sure where. I think it was just a few minutes ago. Didn't miss too much. So I'm kind of doing quicker cuts now as we're nearing the end, because I want to pick up speed for the first look, which is about to happen. And we're back to the first look. Okay, I like the cut. I might make some minor changes here and there. The next hard thing is going to be adding the audio to the first look, because it was super windy. Let's see if you can hear this. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with here.
Okay.
So I would use do audio sync, because it's so windy, my cameras are so far away, there's no way my camera's picked up on the audio. So I just gotta do it by mouth. So let's find out where he says you're so beautiful.
So beautiful. I love you. You're so beautiful. I love you.
Okay, so he talks a little too fast.
You're so beautiful. I love you.
Oh, I just don't know, you guys. I don't know if I'm feeling that shot. I need something at the end there. Okay, I am happy with that, to be honest. So my next thing I'm going to do is adjust my music. Want it peaking around 6, -6 at all times. Since there's no audio, I might lower it just a little bit. I'll make sure this mixes well. Sounds good so far. That wind is annoying.
You're so beautiful. I love you. Look at you.
I might add just a few effects here to kind of clean up the audio a little bit. Not a lot you can do there, but it works for me. Okay, so my next thing I'm going to do is add some sound design. When the music's picking up, you have this kind of grassy image here. So I have the Soundstripe plugin. I'm going to go to sound effects. I'm just going to type in wind, see what comes up. I'm going to do atmosphere. I'm going to do bush. Nature mountain. Let's see what that happens. So that's pretty. I'm going to do this one. So I'm going to let license. And this is a wedding video. Import sound effects. So I'm just drag that right there. I'm going to crossfade it in so it's not as apparent. I think it's a good volume. I'm going to keep this for the full first look right here. Okay, let me see if I can find some footsteps. Foot. We'll do folly. Foot. Grass. These are terrible. You know, honestly, I'm going to do this one and just tone it down a lot. It's way too loud. I'm going to put it on like -11. I'm going to match it with his footsteps. I'm going to take up some dead space, make it fast. I'm going to kind of have it crossfade out right there since he's not walking anymore. Sound effect for the ribbon. That'd be sick. Ribbon wind? Doubt it. Flag. Flap. Let's try it out. You know what? It's just enough where I think it's going to work very nicely. So I'm just going to crossfade it in and out. Not too harsh. And I'm going to lower the volume. And I'm also going to push it more to the right, just to help sell it a little bit more. Just super subtle, you know? And then I might grab these footsteps again for when she's walking. Have them overlay a little bit. Okay, and this rest of it, to be honest with you guys, I'm not going to do a whole lot of sound design because I just don't think it needs it. So I'm just going to kind of might make that a little bit louder. My first look is cut. I've sound designed, added music. All that's left is to color grade and add some final touches. Light leaks, maybe some scaling, some composition fixing. What I usually do with a video is do an adjustment layer, hit OK, drag it on top, and just color correct the entire thing on the adjustment layer and just do minimal changes for each clip. However, this clip goes back and forth on lighting, so I might just copy and paste. So let me find a good clip with good skin tones, and that's what we'll use as our base. I also want some greens. I think this is a good shot. Okay, so we'll Lumetri color, pull up our scopes. So first thing is color correction. What I'll do here, I'll fix the exposure the way I want it to, adjust the contrast how I'm feeling. I kind of feel like this should be more of a flatter look. I always lower my highlights and boost my whites. But in this case, you know what, I'm gonna raise my whites, my highlights, and my whites to give that really bright and airy luxury feel. Maybe add a little bit of warmth in there. Saturation's fine. Blacks might add a little bit of faded film so that just the exposure already looks like a really pretty color. And we're going to attempt to do this without LUTs. Let's see how we do. Do my classic S curve. Grab those blacks a little bit. Just make them a little more moody. Okay, I'm going to grab my blues. Just give them a little more of a teal vibe. I'm going to grab my greens. And I want these greens to be just a little bit warmer. Okay, I'm going to grab my highlights and just desaturate them. Make my whites more white. Okay, so that's before and after so far. And honestly, I might call it good. I really like how that looks. Add a little bit of a vignette just to add some depth. I'm just going to copy and paste that to every clip and make fine-tune adjustments as needed. And then I add my logo and descale it a ton, change the opacity to like 60, call it a day. So the next thing I will do to add some more is I will add some light leaks, Jake Weisler pack, put it under the text. Effects on